before the Spanish-American War out
Alfred.
Spanish-American War. That's literally the truth.
You're listening to Rock-N-Brews, episode number 7, a Union Station Brewing Company podcast. I'm John Wheat. I own the brewery.
And I'm Thomas. I work at the brewery.
So this is a not-so-friendly podcast. We may cuss here and there. We might talk about not family-type things, but it's all in fun.
That it is.
So just make sure your kids aren't listening. We have to start off with a beer of the show.
Always, every time. So we had a beer brought to us this week, or about a week and a half ago. We just have so many beer in line, I don't even know where to start.
We do. We have a backlog of beer.
We have a backlog of beer to try on the show. So we've got this Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale. It's actually in a bottle, and you have to like pop the top.
Okay, let me get close.
Ready?
Yep. Ooh. Nice. I like
Nice little jingle at the end.
Jingle. This was brought to us by Keith and Michael. And Keith was here and futz around with these microphones. He got us set up with some different recording software, so hopefully this sounds better.
Yeah, we're going to hope so.
We hope so.
Yeah, right?
So
I mean, first impression, like we haven't had the beer before, but...
yeah. We may have had this. It smells really sweet.
Definitely get the vanilla in there.
Oh, yeah, first thing in the morning. That's really, really
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and this was Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream. So Kentucky has a bourbon barrel stout, I think. We may or may not have a couple bottles.
I think we have a couple of that.
We do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, this is really nice. It is
really
good with my coffee.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Add a little bit
That's
of
right.
coffee in the morning.
Pour it in there. And that's great.
Like a little Bailey's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we have a couple corrections to make while we sip on here. Grab a beer, crack it open, crack it back with us. And so we have a couple corrections. So while I can't add, I can spell.
You can.
Yes, it is Farberware. There is an
R. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Are you referring to the pot that I smashed with my knee?
Yes.
Okay.
That was not Farberware.
You sure
that wasn't even aluminum.
I don't know what that was. That was some pot metal off the side of the road.
Yeah, that was crazy. So yes, so it is Farberware.
Farberware.
No, not Farberware. It's not Fabio-ware.
Fabio.
So Farberware. And another one, when we were talking about us rescuing that missing dog, Carrie corrected us because she was the one that ran out there to pick up the dog.
So right now you've lost your credit.
Yes, I'm surprised she didn't mention that on their little podcast takeover last week about that. And then I was corrected by Pam that Jai Alai is a sport from Spain. It was not Native American.
Are you sure it's not called Jai Alai?
Jai Alai. Maybe the Jai Alai was, that sounds Native American.
That's right.
Sorry, that was the Native American sport.
That's right.
So I did actually look up some history of that, and so like lacrosse came from the Native American stuff. So anyway, those are the corrections of the show. And hopefully everybody here listened to episode 5B, actually episode 6. If you haven't, go ahead and pause right now because the ladies came in and did a podcast takeover.
5B.
5B for bitches. That's right.
They're probably going to laugh when they hear this.
They said that. We did not say that. Now, I'm looking at this waveform and it looks like we're clipping. So I'm going to adjust the recording volume down a little bit and see if that helps any. And hopefully from here on, yep, that looks like it did a little better. So okay. We'll see. I apologize. We're still figuring out the new software and positions. I'm going to move my mic a little bit too.
So you got some positive stories from this week?
Well, I mean, 5B, that whole episode was different than ours, which was great because it was the ladies. And I think they had a lot of fun with that.
Right.
But they took kind of a different approach with the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And they were talking, which is fantastic, which, I mean, I feel kind of ashamed that we haven't done to the degree that they did it. But their entire podcast was very, very positive. Yeah. It was how cool this place is. It's like their best job ever. these amazing customer stories, which I want to elaborate on one of them, and I got permission to. I mean, I'm listening, and I just felt so good. Like I'm immersed in this place. Like I built it, whatever it is. It's cool. It's neat when I look around, but I don't get all the warm fuzzies that other people get, I guess. And think. I don't know. It's very difficult when you're here all the time and when you actually build it and you're working on little things. I could point out 100 things that drive me crazy about this place that nobody else would even know. So they did all these really cool things. The neatest one, I think, was we talked about this in our episode in 5 about how we built this for people to be comfortable. And they pointed out something that we try really, really hard to enforce, and that's that ladies can come here and feel comfortable.
Sure.
If it's 2 ladies, they can come in. They don't have to worry about a bunch of guys hitting on them. If it's a single woman, like by herself, not necessarily single, by herself, she can come in and sit there and not feel like she's being preyed upon by guys. And, we will scope that out and we'll shut it down if we have to. I usually make eye contact with the lady, not like that, but I want to I look over and see if she's okay, and if I need to intercede. It's only happened a couple times, but for the most part, we try to really make everybody feel comfortable. It doesn't even matter. I mean, maybe a dude comes in and just wants to be alone. That's all good too. So it was neat to hear them talk about this place, just because they work here. And it's different when a customer talks about this place versus when your employees do. And I say employees, and everybody's, obviously Becca's my daughter, but Carrie's my friend, you're my friend, but you're also my employees. So it was just neat. So the ladies want to do one of those maybe like once a month, or something like that. We'll just interject them in, and I know she's already has a list in notes about stories they want to do next episode. So that'll be pretty cool. We got a little bit of listener feedback. Loose mic, if you're in here, we have a couple mics.
We have a couple mics.
Yeah, Mike, Michael, and Blue Hat Mike, which is tight mic.
Tight mic.
Yes. And loose mic.
Loose mic.
And loose, not the way you're thinking.
Flaky mic.
Apparently, I was told this.
That's the story.
I was told that's his nickname. Yeah, loose mic. So anyway, he posted, the ladies mentioned wine in their episode, and he gave us an idea for having a wine tasting where y'all would bring in some wines, and we would just have an uncorking fee, because legally I don't know that we can actually do that, but if it's a private party, then you guys can bring in your own wines. So
private party, private property, right?
Yep.
You're not open.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do it sometime. We'll be closed a little bit and do a wine tasting. And then that'd be kind of neat, because we just have our wines, the house wines, just to sort of keep people happy. We're not buying any sort of extravagant anything. We have a wide variety of sweet and dry, white and red, and a couple in between. Every once in a while we get some wacky ones. I had some 20% TikTok wines.
You know what? A lot of people really like that.
I could not stand them, dude.
Yeah,
did you try them?
Yeah, I did.
I know.
I didn't like them. But people would come here and say, "What's the strongest thing you got?" Well, hold on.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Yeah, because we poured one of those into the middle slushy. And that's like the fruit punch slushy, the pink one. And it was
the mystery machine.
The mystery machine, yeah. Yeah, so Mike, thank you for your comment. We got a coaster and a gift certificate for you next time you come in. So keep the comments coming. It's still really neat because people come in and they're mentioning things from the podcast. And I've realized that I will tell stories that we've told on the podcast. And I was like, oh, did you know we had a podcast? I talk all about this story out there.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to hold you here. You got to listen to the podcast.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the end. You got to go listen.
That's exactly right.
I'm pretty sure it's like episode 2, that sort of thing.
Aside from the listener feedback in the realm of same things, we have a listener in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Yes.
We do. Yes, we got another podcast. Yes, another download in Costa Rica.
So we are definitely interracial.
We are interracial, yes. And we did want somebody somewhere far.
That's right.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Who?
I think it's Keith Duncan. The other Keith.
Oh, that kind of ruins it.
Because he's vacationing down there.
Oh my!
He probably is.
Could you imagine
his
if
phone
we
probably downloaded it?
Yeah, he's probably over there
When it
laughing
came
when
out.
he listens to this thing. He's probably be like, "Jokes on them. It's actually me."
That's
I'm
right.
already a
That
listener
just
of
clicked
yours.
right now. We're so excited looking at the stats. And I yelled across to Thomas across the bar. I was like, we got somebody in Latin America.
Yeah, but here's my next question.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that's in Russia?
No, I don't.
Like, you sure no one's vacationing to Russia?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't know that anybody's deployed to Russia.
I don't know.
So I don't think that's a deployment target, is it?
I mean, it just gives you a broad spectrum of Russia. It doesn't actually tell you where the listener comes from in that vicinity, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. At least these stats. I don't know. I could probably
Like-
pay more money to find exactly the city it was downloaded in.
Like, I'm kind of curious to see on the U.S. map of people here. Like, are we localized in Jessup, or do we have listeners in other states? And so that's kind of what I want to know.
Yeah, that's going to cost some money because you have to upgrade to get the in-depth.
It's always
stats.
something. They always want your money.
They always do. Yeah. And right now, we're not going to do that
We're not gonna do that.
unless there's a listener that really wants to know that as well, and they want to
Comment.
donate some money.
Yeah, donate some money. We'll figure out where everybody's listening to that.
Yeah. Share and tell people about this podcast too. We do it here, and we've had some slow growth going on, but we really want to blow this out. So tell everybody that listens to podcasts.
I'm assuming it's Jessup's biggest podcast, right? Is that safe to say?
This could be another first for Union Station
Could be
Brewing
another
Company.
first.
We had the first indoor axe throwing facility and the first outdoor beer garden. That's if you're not from around here, that's part of one of my commercials on the radio. It's pretty funny. So spread the word. Yeah, tell everybody. This is usually a good time. We have some fun customer stories.
Yeah. So it wasn't as bad as a couple weekends ago, where it was the hell weekend.
Thankfully.
But there was a couple of funny things that happened. How about the guy in axe throwing that had to be a grown ass man riding Carter's bike?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like a clown on a bicycle.
Yes. Yeah. Carter is 7. If you didn't know that, and he has
A bike that probably just lost the training wheels.
2-wheeler, maybe a year or two ago. But yeah, it's
right.
not a big. It's not an adult size or like even like a teen size bike, whatever those are.
Right.
And they were over axe throwing. Obviously, they were drinking. He dropped about $20 in the punch machine to show off. And and they were funny. They were fun. These weren't obnoxious customers or whatever. And so I'm walking behind the bar, and Thomas is like, "Can you go tell that guy to get off Carter's bike?" Just like that. I mean, he wasn't super frustrated. He was just like, "Can you just go tell him?" So I walk over. What? Go ahead.
I don't know what compels these people, but it's not the power of Christ. I promise you that much.
It's a different kind of spirit,
Yeah, apparently.
and I don't know what they were.
I think it's the beer.
what spirit they were drinking, but yeah, definitely the alcohol. But they were having a good time, and so I walk over, and I guess he had just put the bike back because he was walking back to the direction, and I startled him when I came through the hole in the wall, and he looked at me and I says, "Please don't ride my grandson's bike." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, it should have been okay to do, but he's going to apologize because I asked him not to do it, not because he was being a dumbass."
Right.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. There were a couple other things, just silly things like that happened this week. We're just like, really? Not that it made either of us super frustrated or anything like that, but we're like, really? Come on,
Like,
man.
use some common sense.
Come on, man. Yeah. We have fun with
Yeah.
the customers. I got into a spelling bee lighthearted argument. I say argument, but it was just a back and forth. It got loud, but in a super playful mood way about we have bratwurst or bratwurst on our menu, and I call them a Grusselfest brat, B-R-A-T.
They're phenomenal, by the way.
They're so good.
I have one probably every day.
You do. I walk in and he's
It's always a new
chowing down.
combination. It's a new combination. So you got to put the horseradish sauce.
Right?
Then
That
you
is
got to
the
put
key.
the broth.
Yep.
And then you put the cheese, nacho cheese. You got to have the jalapenos on there, which are hot, by the way.
Yeah. This batch are hollows.
They're hot.
Yeah.
So if you like hot stuff,
Yep. And then are you doing the peppers and onions on
of
top
course
of that?
you got to.
Yeah. Yeah. No sauerkraut though.
No sauerkraut.
No
I mean, I will
sauerkraut.
do the sauerkraut.
Okay.
They put some coleslaw in there. I don't know.
I don't know that I've done a slaw brat.
The slaw brat.
Yeah, because we have the slot dogs. But so anyway, we have these on the menu, and I've abbreviated them as brat, B-R-A-T. And a customer was telling me that I spelled it wrong. And first they were telling me that I had to have, quote, the 2 dots over the A, which is called an umlaut. And in German, you don't dot the A's. I'm saying that, and now I'm doubting that, but I'm pretty sure you don't put an umlaut over the A because it's a pronunciation thing.
Gotcha.
So they go over U's. I know that for sure. And
Like in Motley Crue.
Like in Motley Crue, yeah, because they're totally German.
Yeah,
You
right.
can tell when he sings.
Yeah. I don't know if they were just trying to be like actually
Kickstart mine heart.
That was good. I think they just wanted the smiley face.
Yeah.
You, I think.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, they're telling me that there was supposed to be a U in brat, and I was like, B-R-A-U-T. Like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. I was like, it's short for bratwurst. So like, you're dropping off the second part of the word.
That would be add more to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going back and forth, and I actually don't remember how that ended. I don't know if I just gave up in a fun way, or
you Googled it.
I don't remember Googling
Hey,
it.
Siri.
No, somebody must have, because So I am 90% sure that I'm correct in my
I
brat,
would
my
agree.
brat spelling.
I would
Because
agree.
they're like, "What's a brat?"
What's a
I'm
brat?
like, "You're a brat." Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But the customers are good. We had pretty good weekends this week. We didn't really have anything planned. We just did our normal, and actually, it was slow. Friday was super slow. And then Saturday was real slow with the Georgia game in the middle afternoon. Although we did have a kids, well, it wasn't kids. It was a Christmas paint and sip.
Yeah.
I don't think there were any.
Huh?
There were no kids there. There were like
there
5
were, like,
adults.
Yeah, 5 adults.
Yeah.
A
And
couple teenagers maybe.
they painted. There was like a Rudolph wood cutout, and then there were lights up in his antlers. It was kind of cool. And a Christmas tree thing they painted and that sort of stuff. It was pretty low key compared to the week before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was good. And a lot of people just came in and drank too. You know, the husbands of the wives that were painting were sitting at the bar, drinking. So that was cool. And the thing about those is there's always new people that come in that have never been here before. So the husband and the wife have never been here, or as a couple, they've never been here, or they bring their kids and the parents have never been here to do anything. So that's cool. It's kind of like a marketing, thing. I don't get anything for hosting it. So,
But you get the drinks. And
the drinks,
people,
yeah, I get the residuals.
People understand what the building is. They're like, oh, we come back here and have a meal or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's the long tail marketing. You hope they come back.
So one thing that surprised me this week was your ability to count. I know
Yes.
we talk about your counting every episode. It's just because I want to make sure that people know that you don't know how to count. But this week you could count.
I surprised you.
You did.
That was really funny.
So we're sitting here doing our sports gambling. If you have a sports gambling problem, please call one of the numbers located on the app that you gamble on.
That's right.
I
Or
believe
call
you-
us and we'll help you pick.
Yeah, right. Or call us and we'll help you pick. 'Cause
Then
you'll
technically
definitely-
you're not gambling.
you're not gambling. We're gambling for you. It's not gambling.
It's not gambling unless
you win.
If you win, yes.
Yeah. So there's a 65x on DraftKings, and I'm thinking 65 times your money. So I tell you about it, and you're like, oh, wow, that's great. So if I bet $10, that's $650. And I kind of look at you for a second. I'm like,
Off the riff. I
Yeah,
didn't
off
even
the
have to
rip.
think about
Nope.
it, y'all.
it was Rain Man.
I was Rain Man.
Yep. I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I'm not picking it up. I'm not picking up my whole math dyslexia issue. And he's like, yeah, that's right. And I was like, I know. And then he's like, no, that's right. I'm really surprised you got that. And then it clicked in my head, and I probably called you a couple names and
Yeah, for sure.
slapped your shoulder, and
Sure.
then we had a good laugh.
We didn't
about
win
it.
nothing on that one, though.
No,
You could have had 65 times your money.
I did. I could have.
Could have,
Yes,
but you didn't.
but I did. 'Cause
I
suck.
almost had a bunch of money last night.
Oh man. Yes, I'm gonna try to get the sound clip off of my phone because I did a Snapchat after everything.
Yeah, insert clip here. So we were we were hanging out watching football, and The game is just rough. I mean, there's interceptions everywhere. It was ridiculous.
So many interceptions.
So I'm like, we're never. They keep turning the ball over. I'm never going to get my pick. So I ended up getting, this was a 6 leg event for like 20 times the money.
Which means he bet on 6 different players.
So if I bet $5, John, and it's 20 times my money.
$200.
No, it's $100, John.
I know, I'm joking. It's $100.
Okay. So I'm sitting there, and I thought everybody, like, the guy that I was like, oh, he's never going to get this. Like, I'm out. Whatever. He ends up getting it. And I'm like, okay, great. So I need 8 yards. And we got like 6 minutes left in the game. I'm like, I need 8 passing yards.
8 passing yards. That's it.
That's it.
All he had to do was pass for 8 yards.
8 yards. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. I thought the game was going into overtime. I thought I was really going to get it. I didn't get it. So instead of winning $100,
oh my gosh, you were so mad.
I won $7 because you weren't supportive.
I was totally supportive.
When you win, I'm supportive. I'm like, yeah. You know.
Like 6 minutes left in the game, and he gets up, and he's like pacing around. It's like 8 yards. I only need 8 yards. It was so funny, y'all, because when he gets frustrated and pissed off, he gets up and he kind of paces around the same way.
Yeah, it's
and
like
it was so funny. He's just, I just need 8 yards, and I'm editing out all the expletives. 8 yards. So it was, yes.
Yeah.
So I felt bad. So how much did you win?
How much did you lose? $100 by.
$92.50.
$92.50 what?
How much I could have won.
And how close were you?
8 motherfucking passing yards.
8 yards.
8 fucking passing yards from $100.
But how much did you win?
$7.50.
Pending what?
Pending payout, John.
For how much?
$7.50.
That's right, baby. $7.50. Woo!
$7.50. $7.50 on a $5 bet. So really, I only won $2.50.
I didn't even look at it that way.
Which is probably going to get bet right back into tonight's game.
Wow. $2.50.
Yeah.
Wasn't even worth 2 minutes of that frustration.
No, not even at all. I should have just left it as is. And we definitely tapped the outlaw in the house.
We did.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thomas has beer on tap. And so he's stressing, and he gets up to pour himself a beer. And the beer kicks. It's like, could anything else go wrong?
Like, and I didn't even get like an ounce in there before it kicked. Like, it was just immediate.
And then he just sat there with the tap on, trying to blow out some foam. So to blow, eventually popped down into some beer.
That's right. Yeah, it didn't work out very well for me. Yeah, it was rough.
So he didn't even have anything to drink away his disappointments with. I mean, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm not funny. I did feel bad because I've been there, not that close.
Yeah, because you win them. That's the problem.
No, I didn't win anything this weekend.
I know, but the ones you have won, you were like, it was just, you won. There was never like, ooh, almost one more. No, he was just there.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I get it. I have some brewery stories this week.
Oh, great.
So, one, y'all don't realize, you may have noticed we haven't been doing a whole lot of music, live music. And that is because I have to pay music licensing fees, which are ridiculous. This is an explicit podcast. It's fucking ridiculous.
That bad.
There are 3 different organizations, CSAC, ASCAP, and BMI. And actually, like, I just recently read that there's a 4th, but fuck them. And due to the square footage, the max occupancy, which is really anybody's guess because we talked about that in the past, the frequency with which we have live music, the duration that they play, then they average in the number of songs during that duration. The fact that we stream music and do karaoke, I pay about $1,500 per organization.
And you have to have all the organizations?
Asinine at best. So they take all the songs that ever have lived, and they split them up.
Oh my God.
3 ways.
Of course they do.
Well, now maybe 4 because this other one, but I'm not even looking into this 4th one. So if you have an artist come in, you could say, here's the, I don't know, 700 songs that you can pick from because I've licensed with one of these 3 companies. And then they have to limit all of the covers that they do to that list.
I mean, unless it's their own private music.
Correct.
Right.
So if they
Okay.
come in and they do their own music,
Right.
their originals. If they come in and they play 3 hours of originals, then that they can do that all day, every day, and I don't have to pay a dime
Shy company.
for that. Shot company. That's true. They should come in. So on top of those fees, I'm paying to have the people here to play, right? Which is fair. I'm not saying they should come in here and play for free or play for drinks or play for tips, but so it's a whole lot of money for me to have live music here. So I'm pulling back. I'm just playing out whoever I have scheduled right now, and then contacting people, or when people contact me, let them know to see if they can do all originals. So that's what we're going to have to start doing. I don't know what we're going to do with like Magnolia Mile. I think they only have a couple originals.
But we're covered under karaoke because
We're covered under karaoke. That yes, so we
Does
can
that
still
come
do
through
karaoke. I have a pro license with
Okay.
Carafun, and I actually pay, and those are licensed. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the way they get around that is a lot of those voices. So you can play with the volume, with the background
Right.
vocals, the lead vocals. You can change keys. You can change tempos. You can do all sorts of stuff with Carafun. And I guess it's rare that if you crank up the lead vocal, that it's actually the lead vocal. Like
it's an
I think they're all covers that play very, very close to the original music, and that's probably how they do that. But all I have to do is say I have Carafun, and then I won't get fined or anything like that.
right.
But the reason that I got all these licenses last year, this is a really long story, I apologize, was because there was an organization, one of those 3 were targeting breweries in the Atlanta area. So they would monitor social media, see that they're doing live music, look up to see if they were licensed, and if they weren't, they would go down and sit there and find them per song that somebody would play. And they're ridiculous.
Could you imagine
fines.
if we got fined per song?
I would close. There's no way, because I mean you're looking at $60,000-$80,000 fines.
Per song.
No. For a total. So I mean it's multiple hundreds or thousands depending on the song, based on its popularity and whatnot. It's all bullshit, and the artists aren't getting any of this money. I guarantee you that they're probably not even getting any of my $5,000 a year that I'm paying to these licensing companies. All that to say, I did not renew. It's a racket, and I'm done racketing. So that's that. So our music is actually going to change up, and it's probably going to end up being more backgroundy kind of stuff. Somebody coming in, playing a bunch of originals, and calling it that.
But we do have a lot of artists that play originals.
We do, yes.
So that's really not a problem.
No, it's not like we're never going to have music again. And I've actually had 2 musicians contact me, and I told them this whole deal, and they're like, "Oh, well, I can do 3 hours worth of originals. I've been writing for 14 years." And
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
perfect.
"Oh,
Okay,
awesome.
great. Yeah,
Cool, booked."
done.
And so that's good. So we'll figure it out. The streaming of music, I added Comcast. I have to pay a shit ton of money for Comcast just so I can have television in here. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, and then you can't even watch any of the games because they're all spawned off on all these damn streaming services. So anyway, I added Comcast music channels. So that's how we're gonna get around that. So I can stream those. I just need to hook up.
Because it's Comcast business.
Because it's Comcast business, it's all included in the licensing.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's just a bunch of bullshit, y'all. There's a lot of that crap that happens so I can be here and be open that you have no idea is
Like
going
behind
on.
the scenes.
Behind the
it's
scenes.
wild.
Yeah. The operating costs for this place are ridiculous. So that's that.
It's really the AC that gets you.
The AC?
Yeah, electricity.
Oh, the electricity is ridiculous for this place. I mean, it's huge. There's 0 insulation. And really, you can't insulate it or else I'd have
Where's the cold weather? So we can turn that thing off.
Yeah, I mean, it is off now. The AC is off now, I think. No, I just
it
heard
just
it
turned
go
off. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have to turn that off.
Okay.
I'll just open up the door.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of those costs. Just the normal operating costs. It's an old building, Anyway, so I almost died this week.
Like actually almost died.
I actually almost died this week.
Okay, but like seriously, like almost died. you have a heart attack because you saw something you weren't supposed to see?
There was a really, really good chance that I could have died.
Is there a ghost here?
So, Thomas doesn't know the story. I think I only told like one other person. So I'm moving beer from one tank to another, and I push beer with CO2. Our fermenters are not really built to hold pressure, so they sort of hiss when it gets to a certain pressure or whatever. But you need that added pressure to push the beer out the bottom of the tank through the filter into another tank. So I have that going, no problem. The hissing is fine, whatever, and I leave. And like I always do, I get occupied with something else, completely forget about the beer. And this is 2 hours, right? Usually takes 35, 40 minutes to push from one tank to another. Completely forget that I have this going on. I was like, oh crap. So I kind of walk over to the walk-in, and I walk in and I open up the lid in the receiving tank to see how full it is, to see how far along we are. And it's pretty full, so it's pretty close to being done. And I'm sitting there and I'm realizing that I'm like short of breath, and I'm starting to get really dizzy. And I'm probably in there like a minute and a half. It wasn't like I was in there for 20 minutes or anything like that. A minute and a half. I'm 6'1". I open this tank and I'm looking down in it. And like the outside of my vision starts to get black. And it clicks. Holy shit. I filled up the entire fucking walk-in cooler with CO2. So I like head to the door, expecting to stumble and fall. Like it's that bad. Because every time I walk in the walk-in, if the door's open, all the cold runs out, and then the temperature fluctuates and everything gets condensated and it's a mess. So I usually, unless I'm going immediately back out, I walk in and shut the door behind me. So I'm walking over, expecting to stumble. I have my hands out to push the door open, and I get the door open and I walk over and I walk around to the bar, and I'm just kind of leaning on the bar, trying to get through that feeling of where you're going to pass out, right? Like legit, I'm not exaggerating at all. So I'm inhaling, I'm trying to get more oxygen. I'm yelling at Remy to stay away because I know that blanket is going to be a foot, 2 feet, or whatever. Not 40 seconds later, the CO2 alarm that is around the corner behind the vault starts beeping because the CO2 levels are above okay.
Right.
So that blanket hit.
Did you turn the CO2 off?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That blanket hit and
traveled that far.
Traveled all the way around within 40 seconds. There was so
Jesus.
much that poured out of the walk-in. So I grabbed Remy and we like go over into axe throwing. And then I told him to stay. I came over, I popped up the garage door. And we stayed over there for maybe like 20 minutes. And I was just sitting there, just like catching my breath.
Jesus.
And it took me a while. I was still just sort of inhaling, every 5-10 minutes I'd have to take a deep breath. It was
rough.
Ridiculous.
CO2
Absolutely
got you, didn't it?
Yeah.
And did it smell funky?
No, I didn't smell anything.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So I don't think CO2 really smells.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's an odor to it. So that was my fun. So now I'm like, okay, now I got to get a CO2 monitor for in the walk-in, just in case a normal leak, happens.
That's right.
Not when I'm doing that. But I guess in the normal, when it usually takes 35 minutes, there's hardly any, on the floor, and it drains out every time I open up the door to go in and out. So, yeah.
You almost died.
And
you weren't even going to tell me about this. Or were you saving it for the podcast?
I was saving it for the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If there wasn't a podcast, I would have texted you right away.
That's wild.
But, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the closest I've ever been. That was freaky.
Just if you pass out and you're still breathing in the CO2.
Right. Well, if I had passed out in there.
If you'd walked out here and passed out a bit different, you'd been fine for a little while.
If I had passed out in there, not opening the door, that'd have been all she wrote, right? Because there would have been no oxygen.
I think the CO2 is probably the closest you've ever been to doing drugs.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I didn't like that either.
It's like when I did a Zin. We were-
Why
don't you tell that story?
Yeah, we're at NASCAR in Talladega. They got this wonderful Zen tent outside, which they denied you access to.
They did, yeah.
So I get like this promo. You get 3 cans for $1, and I like Zen, you know.
If you don't know, they're like those nicotine pouches you put in. You know.
Yeah, so all they had left was like these little 3 milligram ones, which those are a joke anyway. I like the bigger ones, the 6s, and we're sitting. We get back to our seats at the race, which was phenomenal, by the way. And we get back there, and I'm like, John, you want to try a little bit of these, little 3 milligram? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? Well, he puts this in his mouth. He's like, okay, not so bad, not so bad.
And I don't smoke.
shit
I don't
you not.
chew. I don't. Sorry, my mic just fell. I don't do anything but drink. Okay, alcohol is my drug of choice.
You get, I mean, you had that thing in your mouth for maybe 4 minutes. And I'm looking over at you, and you look like you just saw a ghost.
I was. Oh my gosh, I
You
was
were rough.
so sick.
And I'm like, are you okay? And you're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, what's wrong? And you're like, I don't like it. I felt like your soul had left your body for a few minutes.
So did I.
And you're like, yeah, I don't like to feel like that. I'm like, it's perfect.
I was like, no way, man. My head was floating about 20 feet above my body. I thought I was going to throw up the hot dogs that we had eaten, 20 minutes earlier.
That bad.
It was terrible. And he's like, well, take it out. You'll be okay in about a minute. And so I took it out, and I'm just sitting there just expecting to throw up.
And you're fine, right?
And then it passed, and I was good. And then we had a great rest of the day.
So do you want to try another one?
Fuck no. No. So every time, I don't know, 2 times yesterday, we're sitting there watching football over at Thompson's, and he pulls them out, and he shows me, and he does his eye thing like, "Want one?" And yeah, so that's
I'm always going to offer
just
you
a
one.
running joke. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean,
You're so nice.
I'm offering you one, but I know you're not going to take it.
No way. Oh my gosh. No, I'll just stick to beer.
Yeah.
Alcohol and caffeine. That'll do it for me.
So you also could have died this weekend too, or someone else might have almost died this weekend.
Oh, yes. I forgot we put this in the notes.
So
Yeah, why don't you tell this story?
oh
too?
man, so we're sitting up there. It's what? Is it Friday night or Saturday night? It's Friday night.
It was Friday after
night.
karaoke.
Yeah. So Carrie's in the kitchen. Becca had left. I think
Yeah,
it was
Becca
just
left
you and
early.
me up front.
Yep.
People are singing karaoke, having a good time, whatever. And this group of people walks in. There's maybe 6 or 8 of them. And they walk in and they're like, it's about 10:50-ish. So
55,
we're 10:55. Yeah, we're closing up all the taps. We're getting ready to shut it down for the night. And they walk in and they want to do axe throwing. I'm like, well, I can't do axe throwing tonight, but we're open tomorrow from 2 to 11. Come by. We'll set y'all up on axe throwing or whatever. And they're like, okay, no worries. Well, they leave. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they'll come back tomorrow. And about when they walked out, it's about time to start locking the doors and shutting the big garage door down so people don't keep walking in.
Yep.
And we shut the garage door, and about 5 minutes later, John and I think we're singing karaoke, just hanging out or whatever. And somebody comes running back by the big glass garage door, and I mean both hands, bang, 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 bang on the door.
Like rattling.
Like rattling. Now,
The door.
mind you, Carrie's in the kitchen, and she heard it back there.
Yeah. So I doubt he could have broken the glass just with his hands. Okay. It's kind of thick glass.
Right.
It's a pretty heavy duty door, but he was rattling it, and it sounded like it was going to shatter and break. Like he was hitting it that freaking hard. And I go hauling ass
Hauling ass.
to the door. Now,
No,
this is
I mean, this is
this is
straight-
another
this is-
fucking Fred thing.
Yeah,
Right?
this is
Like,
awful. But
this
at
was-
least we know who did it.
Yeah. So I go running out there, ready to beat somebody's ass. It didn't matter if this was Hulk Hogan. Like I was ready. Somebody was
Because it
getting,
was rude as shit. I
Yeah.
mean, like, why would you?
So I go out, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Screaming or whatever. And the car was parked down in front of Tracks, which is just next door on the street.
Like four or five
Yeah,
spots
4 spots down.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple women, there's 3 guys, 2 guys, and the third guy was the one that was banging on it. And, he had banged, and by the time I got out there, he was kind of close to the car.
And so I'm yelling. He turns around to come at me. And I was like, what are you doing, man? You're going to break that door. And so he's not saying anything back. The one guy is like yelling back at me. And then one of the women comes over and she's like, he doesn't speak English. So it was 3 Hispanic guys. Like maybe they all were. No,
because the girl was white.
the girl was white that came in. I mean, yeah. So anyway, whatever. So the woman that's talking to me is Hispanic, and she's like, he doesn't speak English. And I says, will you tell him that I'm about ready to call the cops?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we're leaving. You don't have to do that. I said, then get in the car and go. And meanwhile, I feel Thomas right behind me, and he's like doing some yelling. And then I look back, and Red comes out, and he's like ready to throw down because he's a feral cat when he gets pissed off.
Oh, feral cat.
And so I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm 53. I've never punched somebody out of anger
You're fixing to find out.
or anything. Like I've never been in a fight. I've never taken a punch in a fighting kind of way. Like I've like hit around with somebody, no big deal. Like fooling around, right. So, but I've never been punched full force or whatever. I have no freaking idea what's going to happen.
We're like a bunch of dogs back there barking.
It was ridiculous. So this woman is like, just back off. I'll get him out of here. So I'm like, okay, fine. Like she talks
now.
me out of my yelling.
Right.
So I'm forcefully speaking with her now because I'm still pissed off, but I'm holding it back. I'm trying to get her, whatever, reasonably get out of here. So she speaks some Spanish or whatever, and they get him in the car. He gets in the driver's side back seat, and it's an SUV or whatever. And everybody is kind of funneling in there. So we're, just kind of standing there. And this dude who banged comes out the passenger side door and starts walking to me like he's a big old boy, right? I mean, he was a little shorter than me.
Friends were there to
I'm
hold
still
him back.
not saying that he couldn't have taken me. I have no
I don't
idea.
think so.
I don't remember, I think he was drunk enough. I probably could have punched him in the throat and that'd have been it.
Push him in the throat, and that'd have been it.
Right. So he comes out and she is still there because she was on the driver's side vehicle. I don't remember what I just said. He went in the passenger side, came out the driver's side.
Yeah, one
so
or
we're
the
standing
other.
in the road, whatever. He came out
The vehicle again.
because he was not planning on leaving. And so she turns around and yells at him in Spanish. And one of the other guys pops out and tries to push him in. And I was like, look, somebody is going to call the cops. And it isn't going to end well for either of us because we're not going to stand here until the cops show up.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was pretty sure the brewery would have come out on top on this.
Well,
We were not going to get beat up by these guys.
We had it under control. But my thing
and again,
is,
I'm not a big guy.
you could have,
I'd have gone feral.
I'd gone there.
I'm just saying.
But you had a feral cat behind you.
I had a feral
that
cat.
was just barking.
I had a feral cat and a big
literally,
dog.
Yeah, you literally could have been like this. You could have been like the Godfather. Red, take him out, and you could have walked away. That's it. You could have just done the little thing with they take their hand
and just turned around and walked away.
Yeah, they go right around their neck and like, yep, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And then you could have left and then just let the feral cat take care of it.
Yeah. So
Because I promise you, Red wanted to beat his ass.
oh my gosh,
So bad.
it took Red a good half hour to calm down. I mean, maybe not a half hour. It took a little while. After it was so really quick. We'll end the story. They finally get in and they drive away, and that's it. So we come in. I'm done. It's over for me. Like they left. Everything's good. The door is fine. Although there's still 2 handprints on there I have yet to clean off in case anybody wants to come by. I'll point them out.
I see.
And so Red is standing, at the bar, still pissed off because you can't just stroke a feral cat and calm them down, right? It takes a little while for them to come down.
Yeah,
off
right,
of there.
right.
So, and love you, Red. I hope you take the feral cat as a compliment.
Oh, it's
'cause
great.
You had my back, man. It was great. So yeah, so that was our Friday.
Yeah,
That's how we wrapped that Friday up.
That's how we wrapped. They
And
did
it was
not. Needless to say, they did not show back up on Saturday.
No, they did. No,
Good.
I told them not to.
Oh yeah, you said don't ever come back
I
here.
said, don't come back here. And I said, I have everything on camera. So like all I got to do is show the cops, whatever. And, all that. Yeah, whatever. Whew, good times. Good times. And they weren't even patrons. It wasn't even like they got here and got drunk with my beer and then did that. They just showed up.
Does that make it better or worse?
That's worse. Is it? No.
No.
I don't know.
I don't
know that it
That's
makes
really
it better
hard.
or
Yeah,
worse.
I don't
It's
know.
asinine on both sides.
Correct.
But like, I guess it's good because if they go off and hurt somebody, they weren't drinking at my place.
Right.
So I
That's the
guess that
thing.
works
Yeah,
out for me.
for sure.
Yeah.
So apparently you're not allowed to put plastic bowls in the microwave, John.
No, you can put plastic in the microwave.
Are
So
you
I
sure?
buy these plastic bowls
Sure.
from Walmart, and I'm mixing up, what was it, the wing sauce for the buffalo wings. And so I just shove it in there because I didn't want to put cold room temperature sauce on hot
Wings,
temperature
right? Yeah.
wings.
Sure.
So I throw it in there, and I just hit it for 30 seconds, and all of a sudden it starts lightning, sparking, doing that. Dumbass just put metal in here. I
Yeah.
was like, what the hell? So I pull it out, and there's these char marks where the scan code, the UPC code is.
Yep.
And I peel it off, and it has a "Do Not Steal Me" metal reader in it.
Oh my God.
Like, what?
Are these farmerware?
No, these are Faberware.
Faberware.
Yeah.
The Walmart special, huh?
Walmart special
That's
Faberware.
right. That's right.
Yes. And so now, so if you buy plastic from them, make sure you take all the tags off. And it was just so stupid. I was so pissed off because that's not the first microwave that has had a problem.
No. What happened to the other one?
When I was building the kitchen,
Right.
before I had the outside walls up, the inside was done. We had, some random equipment in there just to make it a little more convenient. And I plugged in a microwave that I had. This was also a Walmart special, and I plugged it in and I blew it up. And when I say blow it up, I'm talking
Pop, crack,
snap, crackle, pop, smoke, ozone smell
coming out of the thing.
coming out. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we figure out what the problem was, or was it just a Faberware?
No,
Microwave.
it wasn't a Faberware. Faberware.
Yeah. See,
There's
Faberware.
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 Faberware. No, it wasn't. I mean, it was a cheap microwave. The problem was that, I wired all the outlets.
Sure.
That is not the problem.
No.
Okay. I do know what I'm doing. I've had an electrician come in and bless everything that I've done. The issue was I have 3-phase power here.
Mm-hmm.
I was not informed that I know there's 3 legs to 3-phase power. That's what it means.
Sure.
But they wire it up in the breaker box as 120, 120, 120, 240, 120, 120, 240. So every third breaker in that box is 240 volts. I did not know that.
So
I had
just luckily
220 volts,
going to a
240
microwave.
volts going to a poor little 120 volt microwave, and that became scrap metal really, really fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we did have the air fryer hooked up to that at one
We
point.
did, yes. And
I was wondering why it was
fast.
cooking so fast, because you'd put it there for 12 seconds and it's done.
Yeah.
Bagels are done.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the
You
world?
could have landed an airplane with how bright this thing was.
Oh, yeah. It was
But
bright.
thankfully,
It didn't blow up.
It didn't blow up. It just heated up fast, and it got super bright. And we're still using it now on the correct voltage back there.
So whoever made that, kudos.
Yeah. So you alluded to karaoke on Friday before the whole
Yeah, that's our underrated band of the week.
Spanish-American War.
Do what? Oh,
Before the Spanish-American War out.
Alfred. Spanish American. That's literally the truth. That is so the truth.
Go ahead.
Underrated band this week is karaoke. Not really that it's underrated. I think it's a new segment called Overrated Band this week.
Overrated band.
Overrated Band this week.
Hit me.
Listen,
Go ahead.
I was not planning to drink on Saturday. Okay?
Actually, we weren't planning on doing karaoke. There were like 10 people here,
and they all had birthdays.
There were 2 birthdays that happened.
Yeah,
I brought out
back.
some nachos and found out it was this woman's birthday. So I went back in and shoved a birthday candle in it and came out and we sang. Everybody sang.
Bitch, that's the first and only time she's ever had birthday nachos.
I guarantee it.
That's
Yep.
perfect.
But she will
Hey,
remember it.
It's
However,
first for
old she gets.
everything at
Yeah.
the Union Station.
It is.
Parade.
First for it. Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Did I tell you we had the first outdoor beer garden?
Did I tell you with the first
Indoor
what do you call
exercise
it?
facility?
No, the American
Spanish-American War out front?
Yeah.
Although that's probably not the first.
That's probably not the first. So overrated. They
Back
wanted
to
to sing
karaoke.
karaoke. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, great. I'm thinking, well, maybe because some people come in here and sing karaoke and they can actually sing, and it really makes it Good, because I mean,
It's
like
fun.
you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's fun and whatever.
Or close. Like we're not asking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or they play a good tune. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. It may not have to be good, but at least they're playing good songs, like whatever. Because you let them choose what song. Listen, if I have to hear Strawberry Wine one more time in this brewery, just know that I'm going to be drunk by the end of the song, okay? Because it is driving me
Thomas is
nuts.
going to do a vault visit by himself.
We did a vault visit.
We did.
Yeah.
Although it was a fun one.
It was a fun one.
We were having a good time, and Thomas was like, vault visit? Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
So,
But I'm
yeah.
sitting here, I'm like, "Oh, Strawberry Wine, great. You run off to do whatever you're doing. I'm stuck up front listening to these girls absolutely butcher Strawberry Wine. I mean, it's awful. And the song choice for the night, it just got progressively worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I unfortunately missed all that.
The only time it got good is when Becca got there and started singing.
What'd she do?
Hollywood and Dead.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Everywhere I go, bitches always know.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Everybody, did you sing along with that?
No, I was like, I can't even right now.
No. Okay. Because you were super drunk by then.
I really wasn't. I was just more irritated than anything.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
That's so funny. We all need patience for Christmas.
yeah. If you got some wrap it in a box and give it to me, that'd be great.
That's right, yeah.
Or you could just give me some beer because that's patience too.
Okay. That should be a good beer.
Huh?
Called Patience?
Patience? Ooh.
Yeah. What would that be? I'm feeling
Patience waiting on the train.
a dark beer.
Patience at the Amtrak.
Yeah. Like a 14%.
The 14% in, like
Imperial
Saison.
Stout,
Yeah.
Or Imperial Saison, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. So we have karaoke every Friday. So if you want to come sing, we will not, I mean, you can still sing Strawberry Wine. It's okay.
It's okay.
We're not going to kick you out or anything. We just like to
Spice it up a little bit.
fun complain. I was reading, and I don't know if you saw it, but they're going to have a new Olympic sport.
Oh, yeah?
It's quiet tennis.
Quiet tennis.
Yeah. And so at first I was like, oh, I bet it's because every time they hit it, they grunt and they make all these noises,
Uh-huh.
but it's just without the racket.
Jesus. Without the tennis racket.
That's tennis.
Without the racket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Same rules without the racket.
Same rules without the racket. Quiet tennis. Because they're like, huh, 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 yeah. Well, how'd that go?
I don't know how it goes.
You're too good at it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Wow. And on that note, y'all, thanks for listening. This was episode number 7 of the Rock-N-Brews podcast. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Rock-N-Brews podcast. Come visit us at Union Station Brewing Company, 106 Southwest Broad Street, Jessup, Georgia. Union Station Brewing Company, craft beer just got better.